how, let's say there's a prospective home buyer here or renters who want to be more educated, how can they reach you?
Well, they can reach me personally just by, send me an email. Give me a call. My email is samcooper@remax.net. Cell phone, it's going to be out there on the internet. 628-200-8583. There's all kinds of things you can do to educate yourself before you decide to buy. Obviously, the best thing to do is to talk to an agent, talk to a first-time home buyer specialist. If you're kind of in a position where you're like, oh my God, my rent is so high, you're either paying your mortgage or you're paying someone else's, right? So, a good place to start is what can you actually afford? Can you afford to buy? Are you ready to buy? Talk to a lender. Go into the bank and just, no obligations, just tell them about your situation, what you have in the bank, what your income is, and what you can afford. And then talk to a realtor and see what type of house that can get in your area.
So this is great information for someone who maybe they're not completely ready at this time, but they do want to get themselves educated and informed, maybe independently do your own research.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you certainly, if you work with a first-time home buyer specialist, you can go around and get a sense of what's out there with no obligation, right? I've worked with people who are more than a year away. They're more than a year away from buying, but they want to get started. They want to know, maybe one cycle ahead, what's out there. Can I start to get some listings every week just to keep an eye on the market?
Right.
And that's education. And as you talk about, as you see properties, you start to ask questions. That's a process of learning. The more questions you get answered, the more knowledgeable you get. So then when it's finally time to buy, you're not going in blind. You've already been kind of watching and learning for 6 months or so.
Right. And actually there are steps that you want to take prior to in preparation for ultimately purchasing a home. And if you start the research now, get the questions from a specialist, then you can start taking those steps right away.
Absolutely.